This is John Lauder, host of The Cheap Seats. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Madeline, host of Crowned and Dangerous here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come back to check out my show, Crowned and Dangerous, where Jessica and I talk about our time in the pageant world. A new show comes out bi-weekly on Thursdays. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Crowned and Dangerous. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Your Life Matters podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mariah White, and I am so excited you're here. I am a passionate nurse practitioner and fired up health and happiness coach. And this motivational podcast is for you. Seriously, it was created for you to help you and provide a hope and a dream that fuels your soul to dream big and to dream bold, and to empower and inspire you to live out your wildest dreams and to grab a hold onto the unwavering truth that you were made for more. So, I'm so excited you're back to dig in deep to another Tuesday. Last week, we were talking about living the best life of 2019 and beyond. And this week, as we get that much closer to the new year, or maybe even this releases on New Year's. And if it does, Happy New Year. I'm so excited. Or maybe it's after. I am so bad with the programming and when holidays are and things like that, which I apologize for. But Happy New Year. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. And you know me, I'm just here to deliver a message and just be real and raw with you. So as we talked about the 2019 goals and beyond, and we really got focused and we really got down to the three things: what brings us joy, what fulfills us, and how can we find flow in it. I wanted to dig a level further. I wanted to get deeper, because anything that you want in this life requires actions. Emotion occurs with motion. You have to put in the work in order to get something out of it. You have to propel yourself forward in order to be successful. So you have to think about what you want. And I mean, really what you want. And I remember it was probably 2 years ago because I've been doing this business for 3 years. And 2 years ago, I remember setting a vision board and having like a vision board party with our team and really talking and collaborating. And we're going to do that again this year as well with our team, but seriously sitting down and being like, what do you want? It's not anymore about the fluffy, what is your why? Even though that's so important, like, why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you love? Why do you go after the dreams you do? Because all of that is very tangible and it's very good for you to think about, but you also need to think about what you want. Because when you think about what you want, you change your state, you change your focus, you change your actual physiology to understand that action and behavior equal result. So when I think about setting a goal, I think about if I go back 3 years. 3 years ago, you guys know my story. If you don't, I encourage you to go back and listen to my story on previous episodes and podcasts, or even follow me on social media at Dr. Fit White. But I shared this vulnerable post about how 3 years ago I made a decision, and it was my 3-year coaching anniversary. December 17th of 2015 is when I signed up to become a coach to change my life, because that day I had every intention on taking my life. Man, I got chills on that. So December 17th, 2015, I made a decision to change my life because I had every intention to take my life. That is a powerful message for somebody right now. I can feel that right now in my soul, that I need you to know that you're worth it, and that I need you to listen to the end of this podcast, because your life matters right now. Your story matters. Your mess is your freaking message, and we will not let this happen to you. You will not get to that point where you feel like you should take your life, and I mean that right now. So we need to focus on that feeling. You are so worthy right now. And I needed to stop and say that because I felt that in my soul, in the deepest part of me, that somebody listening to this episode today needed to hear that. So going back, December 17th, I made a decision, and I made that decision because it literally was between life and death. And that sounds dramatic, but it was my life. That is where I was in my life. I wanted to take my life and I needed to make a change. So when I made a change, I set the intention on, I want to propel myself forward because I want to live my best life. I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to be suicidal. I don't want to have suicidal ideations. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to be pre-diabetic. I want to go after this. And I remember I did my very first program, and it was a brand new program that was coming out. It was launching during Christmas, just like the amazing program that's launching this Christmas. If you guys follow my stories that are launching for January, it's the same exact concept. It was perfect. It was amazing. Well, this very first program, it was 60 days. I lost 35 pounds in 60 days, guys, like no joke. No, that's not unsafe. No, that's not crazy. It was just grit, grind, and hustle where I was like, I'm going to change my life. But this is the thing. I didn't make that decision, lose the 35 pounds, and then rebound. I've lost the 35 pounds and I kept it off. The only time I've ever gained weight is now here being pregnant. And I've only literally gained 11 pounds during my entire pregnancy because I continued to have the grit, the grind, the consistency to eat clean and nourish my body and take care of not just me, but me and my baby. So I say that because we all have different levels of how we want to get goals happen. We want to have them accomplished. So a lot of people set these fitness or health goals in the beginning of the year. And then by, February, they stop. And the reason why I know that is because as I was a teenager and growing up and in college, I worked at a gym called Mountainside Fitness. And I remember December and January being this ridiculous busy season. And then by the end of February, half the people that signed up in January, I had never seen them again. And then they would kind of start again in March, and then they would quit by April. And that was the trend. And it was so unfortunate. I remember it making me so sad because I was like, man, what is so difficult for people to set those tangible goals and make it happen? It's because they lacked two things. They lacked a why and they lacked a what. Why did they want to lose weight? Because I wanted to look better in a bikini is not a good why. Because I want to be around for another 50 years while my baby grows up. I want to be able to take my kids out to the playground and run around with them. I want to be able to sit there and live a healthy lifestyle and show that it's possible to my family who's ridden with diabetes and heart attack and blood pressure and cholesterol. That is the why. You need to think of a deeper why, not just because you want to look cute in a bikini. Because guys, regardless of what, you're never gonna. It's just not a good goal. And I love you guys that and say it with love. So the other thing is what? What do I want when I set the goal? I want to be in the healthiest, happiest state of my life that I can be in. Not what do I want? I want to look good when I go to the beach and on vacation. Why? Because I want to look good in my bikini. Those two goals are not going to ever set you in the direction to keep those two things happening. So that is why most people fail on their fitness and health and happiness journey. But that doesn't just go for that, quote unquote, New Year's resolution of losing weight. That goes for any goal. The reason why people fail at the goal is because they don't know why they're going after it and they don't know what they want. So if I think about this business, like I said, I've been doing it for 3 years. If I think about why I went after it, it was for financial freedom. I wanted to be healthier and happier. I wanted to no longer be pre-diabetic, and I wanted to show my family that it was possible to live your best life and that you could go outside the norm of what I was taught. I was taught education first, buy a house, get married, have kids, and that's your life. That you were living that day-to-day mediocre life and you were doing good. And I needed to show my family that there was more, that I was made for more and there was more out there. I never forget the first day I told my dad to listen to a podcast. He was like, what in the world is a podcast? What does that even do? And it's because he didn't know. I sit there and I tell him about this business, and it took 3 years for him to realize that this business is legit. But that's what happens. People lose track of their why and what they want, and then people quit. So if I would have started this business a year in and been like, okay, it's not making what I thought it was going to make, blah, 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 I'm done, and I quit, I would have never been able to show anybody that anything outside of the normal educational system was possible. I would have never been able to show people that, yes, you can be a successful career woman and make 6 figures in your career and go after and receive like the highest education possible, but you can also have a side hustle business where you're making really good money. And it's so I don't know how to explain it, because I don't have a certificate, I don't have a certification, I don't have class, I don't have anything to be credentialed in how to make a 6-figure side hustle business work, but I can tell you how to do it. And that's unconventional. That's the word, unconventional. Where school is very conventional, but I knew why I wanted it, and I knew what I wanted. I wanted freedom. I wanted financial freedom because I was living paycheck to paycheck. And for those of you listening, that is the worst feeling in the world. It is awful. And I hate it, and I hate it for you. I hate it so much that if I could fix it for you, I would. And that's why I show up every single Tuesday. That's why I show up every single day on my social media, because I'm giving you an option and a way out, because I don't want it for you anymore. Nobody should live like that. It's awful. And I truly, truly believe that. So that is why I talk about it so boldly, that this opportunity gave me an ability to no longer be paycheck to paycheck, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to buy my own home. I wanted to be able to not just have a 401k, but multiple investments to where I know that everything is going to be taken care of. I want to, the day that my baby is born, we've already talked about it, like opening up a 504 educational plan, because I do not want them to have to struggle the way I did with my education. I don't want student loans. They're the worst thing ever. If I could obliterate all of them, I would. I would do all of us a favor and get rid of them. But I knew what I wanted. And the biggest thing is these 2 questions, these simple questions in any sort of goal setting. And I need you to write them down. I apologize. 3 questions. What does an extraordinary life look like for you at the next level? What does an extraordinary life look like for you at the next level? What's preventing you from making it happen? And what needs to shift right now in the actions that you take to forever change it? So those 3 questions. What does an extraordinary life look like at the next level? What's preventing you from making it happen? And what needs to shift in your actions in order to take charge and change it? When you can answer those 3 questions, you will literally master your life. You will master the art of fulfillment and the science of achievement in any aspect of your life. And I remember hearing that so boldly at Tony Robbins, and I just remember being like, yes, seriously, massive actions, the focus of where you put your mind, the grace of God, all of that comes together for 2 simple things: the science of achievement and the art of fulfillment. And success without fulfillment is failure. Just like fulfillment without success, you don't feel as fulfilled. You don't feel as successful. So when you are going after these things and you master the 2 lessons of this life, fulfillment and achievement, and you answer those 3 questions boldly, you will find gratefulness. And I mean, you will find gratefulness and appreciation in the shit, guys. Like, life can hit you with some really tough stuff. And the 2 things that you have to remember in the hard is why you are doing it and what do you want. At the end of the day, what do you want? What do you want to accomplish when you're making these things happen? What does an extraordinary life look like? What's preventing you? And what needs to shift so that you can make it happen? Because guys, so often our goals for the year are just basic existence. Literally, I'm not kidding. Some people just choose to exist. Some people choose to go with the flow. Nothing ever excites them. Nothing ever is worth going after. And they just choose to exist. And waking up in 2019, January 1st, they're like, I'm happy to be alive. That's it. And And I don't want to say anything's wrong with that, but I want to say that you're made for more. I want to say that you are worth more in this life and that you are worth going after your wildest dreams. So guys, I want you to go after it. I want you to know that anything you want requires action, but the two actions are your why and your what. Your actions and behavior equal results, and that you can change the world. You can change your heart. You can change the momentum of what you're doing with just simply figuring out what extraordinary life you want to go after and what it looks like for you, what's preventing you from getting there, and how you can shift your focus and just freaking go. God created you to be freaking amazing. Just go. Just go. Find gratefulness in the shit. Find appreciation in the hard. Find the ability to dig in deeper and go after your dream, not just in 2019, but beyond that. You are worth it. You are worth figuring out exactly what your life was meant to look like. And I'll never forget this. I can't remember if it was Eric Thomas or E.T. or Denzel Washington, because I love all three of those men, so forgive me for whoever said this. But they were talking about your ghosts of your past, present, and future. And I think of the Christmas Carol whenever I think that. And I remember speaking of, and I know last time we talked about TV, but the one Christmas movie that I loved was with Toni Braxton. It was past, present, and future. And she was allowing her past to dictate her future in the way of stealing her happiness. And Denzel Washington, I think it was the one that said this. And he said, think about your life and think about the ghosts of the past, present, and future. And when you're on your deathbed, I'm getting chills, guys. When you're on your deathbed, are they looking at you proud? Are they looking at you with the greatest fulfillment? Or are they looking at you and saying, why didn't you tap into me? Why didn't you go after this dream? Why didn't you let go of what happened in your past to very, very wildly impact your future? Why didn't you tap into these gifts, these talents, these abilities that you hold? Why did you let them sit there? And now here we are on your deathbed, and no one will ever know. No one will ever know the incredible gifts you had. No one will ever know the incredible dreams that you never made happen. No one will ever feel the beauty and the joy and the inspiration and the motivation you could have given them in one simple act of going after what you wanted. Don't get to the end of your life, at the end, when they're looking at you on your deathbed, and say, I wish I did that. I could have done that. I should have done that. Guys, nothing was more powerful in that moment 3 years ago, realizing that I did not have the will to live. I didn't want to anymore. And if I think about who I am now and where I am, and if I would have done that, all the regrets, all the dreams, all the visions, all the goals, all the things that I've made happen in 3 years' time, and the biggest thing is this beautiful baby growing, wouldn't have even gotten the chance. And for me, that is hard. But it's so amazing and so empowering that I chose and I made a decision to dream big, to dream bold, and to choose life every single day. So figure out your why, figure out your what, master the 2 lessons of achievement and fulfillment, and figure out your 3 what questions of what an extraordinary life looks like for you, what's preventing you from making it happen, and what needs to freaking shift so that you don't get to your deathbed and say could've, should've, would've. I love you guys. You are amazing. You are wanted. You are needed. You are loved. And you are more than enough.